many histories, many stories, and most of all, so much love. Revisiting the memories of times forgotten and feeling once again the emotions and the spirit of the Counterdidge Elementary School. A school originally built in the early 1900s during a time of national civil unrest and a time of complete racial division in Sedalia, Virginia. The purpose of this project is to inform people of the great step it was in 1919 and again in 1959 to ensure black children would have a quality education. Let us begin our journey by listening to the story of Miss Mary Patterson, who was a teacher at the Counterdidge Elementary School.
I taught Sunday school, the intermediate class, at Sharon Baptist Church at Big Island, Virginia. I got my formal schooling at Fayetteville State Teachers College in North Carolina. I taught my first year of teaching school was at the Olive Branch School at Moneta. I spent 1 year there at Moneta. I then came to Sedalia, Counterdidge.
All right.
When I was at Counterdidge, I rode the school bus from my home there at Sharon Church to Counterdidge store, and I would get off at the store, Mitchell's store, and walk up into the school. The school was not right on 122, but it was a little distance up the road. But it was a two-room school. But when I went there to teach, it was only just one room. They'd closed the other room down. But I was happy there. They were happy children. They were very calm, happy. And the main thing that I cherished about the few children that were there, they were very manable. I could tell that they had had good love training from their home. I was proud of them. They were happy. It wasn't many. I didn't have over 10 or 12 children, maybe 13. And I didn't have all the grades. I had first, second, and a third, maybe a few, 1 or 2 and 4. No 5th or 6th. And there was one student in the 7th grade. Those children were manable. They were happy children, and they wanted to learn. They were good students. They didn't do a lot of talking. They were quiet, and they answered and studied, and when they would come to school, they had studied their spelling, and the parents had gone over their reading lessons with them, and it was a great day. I loved it. It was like country. A few cars passing. No family home lived close by. Their homes were a little distance away, but every now and then a car would come by, and every now and then a parent would stop by and talk. It was a nice brick building built there around the grounds where Counterdidge was. No, that didn't become a place to teach at. It became a place that they would have meetings and night affairs. Of all the things that I tried to carry out with me is for children to be manable, children to have respect, to say thank you. And back there then, no ma'am. I would have the children to quote the 17th chapter of Psalms, because that's the shortest Psalms in the Bible. And we would say that morning, and then we would pray. the Lord's Prayer.
Amen. The new Counterdidge Elementary School was more than just a building. It provided a whole new learning experience for the children, one they had never been exposed to before. Many students entering the new school already possessed basic skills due to foundations laid at previous elementary schools throughout Bedford County. They knew what was expected of them. They were privileged to be taught by very professional and highly educated teachers who had satisfied many of the same training requirements expected of teachers today. Character development was a top priority in the training of students. Respect, discipline, honesty, and how to get along with others became a lifestyle and was highly emphasized on a daily basis. There were brightly lit classrooms where each teacher taught a grade level throughout the day. Some of the teachers were Miss Parker, Miss Whittington, Miss Jackson, Miss Dawson, Miss Watkins, and Mr. Beamer, principal. A most impressive aspect of the school was the large cafeteria, where they served hot, freshly cooked meals daily. As they entered the cafeteria, the fresh aroma of food being prepared typically met them at the door as they hurried to get in line. They were also excited about the restrooms with more than one stall. It too caused their little eyes to light up. One could not talk about this school without remembering the annual May Day celebration, a day where students enjoyed food, fun, and festivities, none more enjoyable than wrapping the maypole. Families were changed by the addition of this new Counterdidge Elementary School, making it a staple in the community. Hard work, long days and nights, and much prayer were needed to fill the need for quality education in the Sedalia area. Many sacrifices were made, but ultimately every person involved was a pivotal part of making sure this effort was completed. As we continue to travel this historical journey, we will now hear from Mr. Billy Willams, a former bus driver for the Counterdidge Elementary School, from his 19th century home in Big Island, Virginia.
My name is William Edward Williams III. My birth year and month and day, March 22nd, 1942. I was born at Virginia Baptist Hospital in Lynchburg. There were 8 Williams children, 6 boys and 2 girls, and they settled in the north.
So I understand that you were a bus driver for Counterdidge School.
I was. Back in the early days.
Yes, do you remember what year that was?
August of 1965. I don't remember the details of how this came up. Anyway, I jumped at it, and I happened to live in the exact geographical location that I needed to. I was still at home in Snowden at the time, and my first stop when I went across the James River Bridge into Bedford County was right there. And so I picked up black children, and then I went up to a side road that's been blacktopped, that was populated almost exclusively with black people. It was like a black community. We called it the Peters Creek Road because it was still Peters Creek. And the road may have a different name now. I haven't been over it for many years. But as I picked up high school and elementary school children, I took the elementary school children to Counterdidge, which was at that time a segregated black school. And they got off and went to school. The remaining students were all high schoolers. So we had an express route that I didn't pick up hardly anybody between there and Bedford. Maybe 1 or 2 stops, it's been a long time. They went to the Susie Gibson High School.
So, when you were driving the bus for Counterdidge in 1965, you could say that you were completely oblivious to the groundbreaking events that you were a part of as it unfolded in your very own life?
Correct. I only became aware of it looking back on it.
Okay. Do you remember any of the students? Do any of them stand out to you?
Well, I had grown up with the Dabney family, which was one of my first stops, second stop actually. I can remember so much. They were a prolific family, and the Dabneys had, a lot of them had come to Snowden to trade at the store, my uncle's store. And some of them cut pulpwood. And there was a Burton family who lived up the Peters Creek Road, and a family of Goods, and they had about 3 children each. And the Hertz were another family. By the time I hit Route 122, where Peters Creek Road intersects, and still does, I had a full load. So, and I just had 1 or 2 stops on Route 122. So I could go straight on to Susie Gibson. That saved me a lot of time. It made me able to do the job. It did, and you know, when I did it, I wasn't even aware of that. I was helping to break up the dang old system as we knew it. And it never occurred to me what I was really doing. I didn't have any trouble with the children at all, except they got too loud, and every now and then I had to call them down. But in general, they were well behaved. And it was an interesting experience.
Counterdidge Elementary School birthed out many great people who went on to succeed in many areas of their lives, not just locally, but nationally. This is just the beginning of a great project that is meant to unify people and mend old wounds. May the legacy of the Counterdidge Elementary School live on in the hearts of people forever.